Hello and welcome to Behind the Nightmares, where you can get the stories behind the stories of your favorite episodes of the Nightmare Realm. I'm your hostess, Kat Fischer. Thank you for joining us. Tonight, we will be discussing the Nightmare Realm episode, Grave Warning. Joining us is the creator of the Nightmare Realm, Rob Ferreri. Thanks for being here and talking about this ghostly episode, Rob.
As always, it's a pleasure to be here, Kat.
What inspired Grave Warning?
Grave Warning was actually inspired by one of my favorite horror movie franchises of all time, Phantasm, Don Coscarelli. Those movies just really set a tone that has never been matched by anything else. The villain and the tall man, one of the creepiest villains you'll ever find. The settings, the atmosphere, everything, it was a perfect storm. I am a huge fan of B-horror movies, and this is one of the best. So, kind of inspired by having watched, as I said, quite a few in a little binge session, kind of sat down and wanted to come up with something similar, kind of in that same vein, kind of use a mortuary, an evil mortician. Didn't want to copy Phantasm, so you're not going to see, like the flying orbs and anything like that. It's an homage to it, while not directly copying it. It originally was actually supposed to be a short film, but we couldn't find a mortuary that would let us film, so we ended up never doing it.
Gwen tried to warn Mark about Abner, but did her warning actually seal his fate?
Yeah, Gwen's warning really did end up having the exact opposite effect than she intended. Hoping she was going to keep Mark safe and kind of tip him off to the danger, she ended up putting him in danger. Because when Abner was hearing him talk about Gwen and having talked to her, he knew that couldn't have happened because he himself had killed her. He knew she was dead before he showed up at the mortuary. So he figured he must have known Gwen beforehand and was there looking into her disappearance. There was no way Mark was getting out of there at that point.
Will there be a return to these characters or the mortuary again?
It's possible we'll see either them or the mortuary again. There are a few ideas that are kicking around. A lot of these stories end up inspiring other stories, especially with the interconnected nature of the Nightmare Realm. While each story is a standalone story, they do all take place in the same world. So there are effects that different stories will have on each other. Some of the characters will end up crossing over with other characters. Story elements from one story will cross over with elements from another. So, who knows? It's entirely possible that we'll see them again.
Does Stuart, the latest mortician's assistant introduced at the end, stand a chance of survival, or is he pretty much just a dead man walking?
Oh no, he's totally screwed. Abner's gonna find a reason to kill him too. He has no chance of survival.
With this story originally being written as a short film, were there many changes with converting it for the Nightmare Realm?
I was able to put a lot more detail in. We weren't constricted by what you could see. It really opened things up a lot, and it let me put in a lot more detail and information about the characters themselves that you wouldn't have necessarily gotten otherwise.
If you could shoot the original script and make the short film version, and could cast absolutely anyone in the roles, who would you cast for each role?
For Mark, I want somebody who could be taken seriously but also be able to pull off being kind of geeky. So for that, I would go with either like a Tom Holland or Ryan Gosling kind of actor. For Gwen, Emma Stone pops into my head. I don't know if I'm just making the Gwen Stacy connection, but I'm thinking Gwen and her face just pops into my head. For Abner, I envision him as the one and only Angus Scrimm from Phantasm, the tall man. That was the inspiration. That's still what I picture. It is not the same character by far, but that's who I picture playing him. And as far as Stuart, it would just be a fun little cameo for me at the end.
Thank you, Rob, for being here and talking about this phantasmic story.
It's been a pleasure as always, Kat.
And thank you, listeners, for joining us on our foray behind the nightmares. Join us next week when we discuss Christmas Evil. Don't forget to go to thenightmarerealm.net and see everything the Nightmare Realm has to offer. Good night.
Whispers in the shadows deep, no souls dare to sleep. In the land where dreams they bleed, nightmares they do creep. Eyes that watch from darkest skies, shadows overheads. Every step a silent scream, walking with the dead. Of terror whispers cold, chilling to the bone. Voices from the past unfold, secrets carved in stone. Lurking in the midnight hour, phantoms start to rise. In the grip of darkest power, tears behind the eyes. Come behind the nightmares, see what lies beneath. Every tale of sorrow hides a restless wraith. Stories of the horror, masked behind the veil. In the realm of shadow, terrors in detail. Mirrors show a twisted face, echoes from the grave. In the silence, find a place where the spirits rave. Specters whisper in the ear, secrets they confide. In the land of endless fear, shadows never hide. Candles flicker in the gloom, eyes that never blink. From the nightmare's deepest room, stare into the brink. Every story holds the key, every ghost a clue. In the darkness we can see truth inside the blue. Come behind the nightmares, see what lies beneath. Every tale of sorrow hides a restless wraith. Stories of the horror, masked behind the veil. In the realm of shadow, terrors in detail.